आज हम रिएक्शन देने वाले हैं ग्रेटर नेपाल के बारे में, एक वीडियो जिसमें ये बात की जा रही है कि नेपाल अगर ग्रेटर नेपाल की मांग कर रहा है इंडिया से, तो क्या ग्रेटर नेपाल सच में हुआ करता था या ग्रेटर नेपाल की जो जमीन है वो सच में नेपाली हुआ करती थी। आज इसी के ऊपर बात करेंगे और आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे कि नेपाल की मीडिया ग्रेटर नेपाल के बारे में। तो आज की वीडियो देखेंगे और आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे कि क्या सच में ग्रेटर नेपाल हुआ करता था, अगर हुआ करता था तो आज नेपाल इसके लिए क्यों लड़ रहा है, ग्रेटर नेपाल के लिए क्यों लड़ रहा है, इन सब के ऊपर बात होगी आज की वीडियो में। तो वीडियो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाली है। वीडियो को लाइक लाजमी करिएगा, शेयर करिएगा, चैनल को लाजमी सब्सक्राइब करिएगा।
Let's take a look at the map of Nepal. Currently, Nepal's area is about 147,516 square kilometers. However, if you look at the map of Greater Nepal, it shows a larger territory that is twice the size of present-day Nepal with an area of 267,575 square kilometers. Nepal lost more than 120,000 square kilometers of land due to the Sugauli Treaty in 1816. Recently, India displayed a map called Akhand Bharat in their new parliament building. This map includes the current territories of Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Myanmar, Sri Lanka and more. This move has raised concern from countries like Pakistan, Bhutan and Bangladesh. In response, the mayor of Kathmandu, Balendra Shah, placed a map of Greater Nepal in his office. This Greater Nepal map includes current Indian territories such as Darjeeling, Dehradun, Bihar, Sikkim, Uttarakhand and many more. Supporters of Greater Nepal believe that Nepal's territory should extend from Tista River in the eastern Himalayas to the Sutlej River in the west. Nepal has had ongoing border disputes with India. The display of the Akhand Bharat and Greater Nepal map has intensified these disputes, causing concern for both Nepal and India in terms of geopolitics. So the question arises, how did Nepal lose almost half of its territories? Is a Greater Nepal possible? Even if it is possible, should Nepal pursue it? What will be the India's response? Let's explore these questions in this video. To understand the conflict, we need to know about the Sugauli Treaty. The Sugauli Treaty was a treaty signed on December 2, 1815 and approved by March 4, 1816 between the East India Company and Nepal. It was a result of the Anglo-Nepalese War that took place from 1814 to 1816. The treaty determined the boundary line of the Nepal and marked the end of the war as well. However, the treaty was considered unequal because it was heavily favored the British side. Nepal had to surrender almost one-third of its territories in the east, south and west. In an equal treaty, both sides usually benefit to some extent. But in case of the Sugauli Treaty, Nepal suffered significant losses while British India gained a large territorial advantage. This is why the Sugauli Treaty is often referred to as an unequal treaty. The British East India Company created a draft of the treaty and Lieutenant Colonel Paris Bradshaw signed on December 2, 1815. They sent the treaty to Nepal and gave them to the deadline of 15 days to sign it and return it. However, Nepal was not happy with the terms and conditions of the treaty, so that they did not sign it within that time frame. To put pressure on Nepal, the British started spreading rumors that they were going to attack the capital city Kathmandu. They even moved their troops, showing Nepal that they were serious about their intention. Faced with brief that the attack on the capital was inevitable, Nepal was forced to accept the treaty against their will. As it was a treaty imposed on Nepal, the king and high-ranking official did not want to sign it. But Nepal was under pressure to accept its term, because of which Chandrasekhar Upadhyay and Pandit Gajraj Mishra signed a Sugauli Treaty on March 4, 1816 and gave it back to British India. As a result of the Sugauli Treaty, Nepal lost a significant amount of land and became smaller in size. However, there are arguments that suggest Nepal can still claim back the lost land because of the certain incident and treaties. So in case of the Sugauli Treaty, one important point is that Article 9 of the treaty states that it should be approved by the King of Nepal. However, there is no record of King Grivanidha Bikram Shah approving the treaty. The British were concerned that Nepal might not follow through with the treaty, so Governor General David Ochterlony, representing the British government, approved the treaty on the same day. The counterpart treaty was then handed over to Upadhyay. This means that the treaty signed by Chandrasekhar Upadhyay for Nepal and Paris Bradshaw for the East India Company government was only approved by the Governor General Ochterlony. Since the treaty was not approved by the King of Nepal, there are questions and curiosity about the legality of the treaty. These factors raise doubts about the legitimacy of the treaty and provide a basis for Nepal to potentially claim back the lost land. According to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship signed between Nepal and India on July 31st, 1950, as well as the treaty between Nepal and United Kingdom on October 30, 1950, all previous treaties and agreements were cancelled and considered invalid. This means that Nepal should have territorial rights over the area of Greater Nepal that were lost in the Sugauli Treaty. After India gained independence from British rule, there have been no specific treaties, agreements or understanding regarding India's control over the territories of Greater Nepal. Therefore, the land that were taken by British from Nepal should no longer remain under the present dominion of India. So in simple terms, based on the new treaties signed between Nepal, India and the United Kingdom, the previous agreements that led to the loss of land for Nepal no longer holds validity. So Nepal has a rightful claim to the territories of the Greater Nepal that were taken away during the Sugauli Treaty. For this reason, it is technically possible for Nepal to claim the land it lost in the past. However, it would be unrealistic to expect India to return that land back. It's important for us to understand that hoping for its return might not be beneficial for Nepal in the long run. The majority of the people living in those territories are now Indian citizens and have no desire to join Nepal, even if India were to offer the land back. Moreover, Nepal is already facing challenges in taking care of its own citizens, so taking on more people to look after would be difficult. The population of the lost territories is almost the same as the current population of Nepal. If those territories were given back to Nepal, we might encounter cultural conflict and unrest among the people, similar to what happened in Sikkim. This could disrupt peace and harmony. Therefore, it is better for Nepal to focus on its present situation and work toward its development rather than hoping for the return of lost territories. As Nepalese, we should be proud for our remarkable history and the fact that our empire was once vast and fought against the British and the others. However, it is important to remember that all of it now is the past. We should still take pride in the fact that Nepal is an independent country. Even larger countries than Nepal have become part of India. Our focus should be on making Nepal a better place for everyone. If we start engaging in disputes based on historical events, it will never end. History shows us that empires, states and countries have expanded and contracted throughout the time. So for example, there was a time when Russian, Germans and Ottoman empires were much larger, but now they have shrunk. There are numerous countries smaller than Nepal that are more powerful and developed. Countries like North Korea, South Korea, Portugal, the United Arab Emirates, Denmark, Bhutan and Switzerland are smaller in size, but they have achieved higher level of development, providing good education, healthcare and a high standard of living for their people. So instead of fighting with India over the incident that occurred 200 years ago, we should focus on resolving any current border disputes. It is crucial for all Nepalese to unite and protect our sovereignty. I think that will be the greater Nepal for all of us. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe this channel. I'll see you in the next video.
आप लोगों ने वीडियो देख ली, उम्मीद है कि पसंद आई होगी। ग्रेटर नेपाल की सबसे पहले बात यहाँ पे ये करें कि देखो, अगर ग्रेटर नेपाल इंपॉर्टेंट है तो क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसके पीछे कहानी क्या है, तब आज के वीडियो में आपके साथ शेयर करता हूँ। सबसे पहले तो ये देखिए, ग्रेटर नेपाल इन दिनों में अगर वायरल हुआ है तो वो इंडिया की तरफ से ही हुआ है। और अगर आज ग्रेटर नेपाल की मांग कर रहे हैं नेपाल, तो नेपाल की जमीन है, नेपाल तो कभी भी वो चाहेगा। 1950 की संधि में नेपाल के साथ धोखे के जरिए नेपाल की जमीनें ली गई। इससे पहले ग्रेटर नेपाल हुआ करता था 1816 तक। 1816 में नेपाल की ब्रिटिश के साथ लड़ाई हुई और लड़ाई के बीच पे नेपाल कुछ जगह हार चुका था और जो हारने के बाद वो जगह ब्रिटिश कब्जा कर चुकी थी। ब्रिटिश के साथ मुआहदा हुआ था कि भाई जब तक आप यहाँ पे होंगे आपकी जमीनें होंगी, जब आप चले जाएंगे ये जमीन हम आपको वापसी दे देंगे। ब्रिटिश ने ये कहा। 1816 के बाद 1947 में इंडिया आजाद हुआ और इंडिया की आजादी के बाद 1950 के अंदर एक और संधि होती है इंडिया की नेपाल के साथ। बट उससे पहले नेपाल की एक बात तो आई थी नेपाल के किंग ने कि आप अपने इंडिया के अंदर हमारी जमीनें शामिल कर लो और हम जो है वो फिर आप एक ही कंट्री रहेंगे और एक ही नेशनलिटी रहेंगे। तो उसमें उनके प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने, इंडिया के प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने इस चीज़ को मना किया और साथ में उन्होंने ये कहा कि भाई हम नेशनलिटी तो नहीं दे सकते, बट हम ये कर सकते हैं कि आपकी ज़मीनों को हम अपनी कंट्री के अंदर शामिल कर लेते हैं और जो जगहें वो हमारी हो जाएंगी और साथ में ये होगा कि भाई आपके लोग हमारे पास आएंगे, हमारे आपके पास आएंगे, पासपोर्ट वीज़े की ज़रूरत हमें नहीं पड़ेगी। ये बात हुई। अब अगर ज़रूरी है तो क्यों ज़रूरी है? देखो भाई, सबसे पहले तो ये ज़रूरी है कि भाई ये तो धोखा हुआ। आपने अगर इनके साथ एक मुआहदा किया कि भाई नेशनलिटी होगी, तो ये जगहें तो नेपाल की थी ना, नेपाल की होनी चाहिए, ना कि आप अपनी कंट्री फैक्ट्री के अंदर इसको शामिल करो, नेपाल अगर वो मांग कर रहा है तो आप इसके साथ ये करो, ये बात करो कि भाई आपकी तो ये जमीन थी नहीं, आप कैसे ये जमीनों को मांग सकते हो। तो इन सब के ऊपर बात होती है। अब आप सबको पता है कि ग्रेटर नेपाल इन दिनों में वायरल इंडिया की तरफ से क्यों हुआ, वो आप सबको पता है कि मैप लॉन्च हुआ और मैप की जो कहानी थी वो क्यों हुई। मैप लॉन्च होता है इंडिया की तरफ से अखंड भारत का, और फिर बाद में उन्होंने सफाई देते हुए कि अशोक के मोराल की टाइम के हमने ये मैप निकाला और इसी के लिए हम ये बात कर रहे हैं। बट बात यहाँ तक नहीं रुकती, बात रुकती फिर नहीं है। फिर नेपाल के मेयर ने भी ग्रेटर नेपाल का मैप लगाया और उसके बाद बात होते 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 ये आगे तक बात चली गई और काफी मसले मसाइलात का सामना करना पड़ा और ग्रेटर नेपाल की कहानी हुई। टॉपिक को समराइज करते और देखते तो यार ग्रेटर नेपाल हुआ करता था, नेपाल की जमीन थी, नेपाल इसकी जमीनों को वापसी लेना चाहता है और नेपाल की जो सरकार है वो भी इसके अंदर बात कर रहा है, क्योंकि पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी ग्रेटर नेपाल के लिए आवाजें उठना स्टार्ट हो चुकी है और इसके ऊपर बात की जा रही है। अगर आज की वीडियो आपको अच्छी लगी है तो वीडियो को लाइक लाजमी करिएगा, शेयर करिएगा, चैनल को लाजमी सब्सक्राइब करें।